Hello everyone, this is Tyler Nelson with Average Nerd Cosplay. Today I want to show you a quick little introduction to my Ren Fair character slash costume. So the character name is Van Adev Skov, two names. Van Adev is the first name and Skov is the last name, which roughly translates, it's 2 a.m. Well, no, it's 3 a.m., 3:30 right now. Couldn't sleep, so we're getting my costume here for my Renaissance Fair, which is this weekend here in Las Vegas, October 7th, 8th through the 9th. So, yeah, 7th through the 9th. So, if you guys want to come by, I'm part of the Guild of the Fae. So, if you want to come by, it's at Sunset Park. It'd be awesome to show your support, all your love, all that good stuff. The group I'm with, we do a lot of work with young children, especially to encourage children to use their imaginations, to inspire people in the arts, especially at a young age, which I personally think is extremely important, because creative arts, visual arts, writing, reading, those really help me stabilize myself a lot, because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up when I was younger, so I desperately just needed an escape from my today's life of things. There's just frustrations and anger issues I was struggling with at a very young age, and it really helped me develop social skills. I didn't have friends or a group of people to interact with on a regular basis. So the way I learned about people was through reading and cartoons and different how people interpret the world through art and everything like that. And it just really helped me out. And I think it's awesome. I'm now, as an adult, I'm part of a group that's encouraging children to be able to learn how to express themselves in healthy ways and stuff like that too, because there's so many things nowadays. There's kids are easily glued to video games and stuff like that, which overall is not a bad thing per se, but it can be a bad thing if that's their only outlet. If they're not doing really anything, they're not creating anything, with their time. They're just essentially, just absorbing things through a visual media, but they're not using that, they're not doing anything, they're not inspired by that to create something to express themselves. Yeah, I could play a video game for an hour and, totally fine, no issues, but I'm not doing anything to express myself to other people. So other people don't know how I'm feeling, so I'm not expressing myself in some way or another. Especially if I'm not verbally communicating to people how I'm feeling or things like that. Art could be a great way to show people, like, hey, I'm struggling telling you this, so I made this image to express my feelings, and that way it allows me, now that I've visually done some type of art piece, either through writing, drawing, etc., painting, whatever, making costumes like I am here. So anyway, so this is kind of the mask I'm working on for him. Anyways, Van Skov is his technical name. His title is the Stag King of the 12 Woods, which I will post a link to his actual story. I wrote a very shortish story about the character, about his background, essentially, how he got the name that he has, how he got turned into a fae, all those awesome details, because I love creating characters. That is a huge passion of mine. That's how a lot of the costumes of mine you'll see, especially when I'm cosplaying at Millennium Fandom Bar, aren't actual characters anyone knows about. They're self-made costumes I've created myself that fit that theme. Now, if I have a character that fits that theme, like let's say Pokemon Night, I have a cosplay for that. Not a problem. Like the one of the nights was like Soul Calibur night. I don't have a Soul Calibur character costume. I can easily slap together in like 30 minutes or an hour. No, I can't. I don't have the ability or the materials or means to do so. So what I'll do is I'll create my own character that will fit into that setting of that world. I've been doing that since I've been like 9 years old, essentially. Is creating a character that can fit into an existing world or universe. AKA fanficking, essentially. That's what a fanfic writing is. You basically, you insert yourself into an existing world, and you either do like an art piece or a short story about that. That's essentially what a fanfic is you writing a short story about something that's pre-existing that was already created. Like, say, an example, let's do this here. So say you love the Hulk, right? Or like Hulk comics. And you personally want to create a character that can interact with the Hulk. So you write a story about your character that you created. Oop, there's my finger. I'm new to this, sorry. That you created yourself that ends interacting with the Hulk then. Actually, where's he at? He should be on my shirt here somewhere. Oh, there he is. So yeah, speaking of the Hulk, there he is right there. Yeah, so you write a story about your character interacting with a copyrighted pre-existing character. That's essentially what a fanfic is. So I was basically creating fanfic stories in my brain since I was like 9 years old. I didn't even know what that was. No one explained that to me. Like, oh yeah, Tyler, you're basically using your imagination to create fanfic stories in your brain. And like, when you're older, you should write that. You should write those stuff down. And when you're younger now, because when you get older, people will probably freaking love this stuff. Because like, I see like fanfic forum pages, websites all the time nowadays. It's insane. People love learning people's other creative outlets, and I think it's awesome to continue to inspire people. On the same term, people will kind of nitpick, like, oh, you're not very creative because you're just writing about something that's pre-existing. That would be like saying, like, the person who designed this t-shirt, hey, you're not a very good artist because all you can make or draw is something that's been already created. You would never tell that to an artist, really, unless you're a total, like, a-hole, which I know people like that. I've met people like that. It's stupid. Like, why? Why would you be upset about that? I mean, it's not like the actual artist who actually did this drawing in the Incredible Hulk would be mad at the guy who created the t-shirt. Like, hey, stop copying my art style. You need to get your own art style. You need to learn how to draw your own stuff. Stop copying me. Like, who would do that? Well, I mean, I know who would do that. I've read about and I've met people like that. So, I guess it is technically possible. Anyways, back on track a little bit. So, I think it's cool when people are able to, replicate someone else's art. I think that's awesome. I mean, I'd be happy if I could do any type of visual art, whether my own characters or somebody else's, I mean, that's how artists I've heard they've learned is they essentially replicate an art style and draw pre-existing things until they're able to develop their own stuff. I've heard that from like artists who've done podcasts or YouTube videos or at conventions. Like, yeah, since I was like 6 years old, I'd like learn, like I'd look at a comic book page and I would try to essentially mirror the image that I saw and try to do my drawing as closely to that drawing as humanly possible, Yeah, I never started that when I was young, so I never had the patience or anything like that to keep trying to do it. That's why I got into creative writing personally. And that's why I love creating my own stuff, my own stories. I have a universe in my brain now that I want to share with the rest of you. And that's why I'm showing you guys my characters, my imagination, through these costumes that I make, that I cosplay, that I put on almost every other weekend, So if you're wondering, like, hey, who the heck's this character? Like, it looks like this, but it doesn't quite look like that. Well, yeah, because it's a character I created myself. And I've been doing this, like, forever, and now I'm just finally feeling comfortable enough to finally share them with you guys through the medium of costume making, cosplaying. So yeah, next time, feel free to ask me what the character is. Now, just mind you, you might get stuck with me like for a half an hour to an hour of me explaining to you the process of me creating this character, essentially. But yeah, because that's a huge passion of mine, is creating brand spanking new characters. They might be based off of other characters or things like that I've been influenced by. And I think anyone who's developed an original character has always been influenced by something in the world. You know, it might not be as obvious as some characters as the other, which that's even been a thing in comics throughout the ages. Like, there's characters that mirror each other, that look very similar to each other. You know, they're not the same character. They're technically original characters of each other, but they were inspired by other things, and that's been going on forever.